Greetings viewers, this is my entry video into the Power Oil X Master Chef Cooking Challenge. First of all, I arrange my ingredients and items on the table and I insert my hand into hand gloves. Then I pour the power oil inside a pot. Then I dice my onions and put them inside. I fry them until they turn into golden brown. Then I pack them aside and I wash my chicken and unskin it. Then I put it into the pot. Then I added some salt and Maggi, then curry masala and onga. Then I diced my tomato and put it inside the pot. Then I pounded my garlic, fresh green chili and fresh ginger, and I added the power oil into the pot. Then I added Greek yogurt and I mixed it thoroughly with my hand, and I squeezed a lime and added the juice. And here is my rice. I put it inside the water and I added another water inside. Then I put my cinnamon stick, cloves and bay leaves inside. Then I added the power oil inside and I sprinkled some salt for taste. Then I cooked it on a low heat, and this is my chicken gravy ready. Then I added the rice into a layer. Then I added the chicken on top of it. Then I added some turmeric juice. Then I added some fresh green chili and fresh red chili and fried onions. Then the rice is ready. I'm plating it now, and I decorated it with a fried onion on it. Then I diced my onion, tomato and cucumber for the raita. I mixed them together. Then I kept it aside and I diced my tomato, cucumber and onion for a kachumba salad, and it's ready. I'm portioning it on the tray and I'm dicing my cucumber and my lime for the cocktail. I added Chapman into the cup and I cutted the cucumber and decorated the cup with it, and the rice is ready. Please don't forget to like and